Thank you. Thank you. So, very excited to be here, and happy to see that so many of you have stayed till the end. My name is Amer Mohammed, and I run the Digital Innovation Department at Stena Line. How many of you know about Stena Line? Okay, I don't have to explain that. One of the most common reactions I get when people hear about Stena Line and digital, and innovation for that matter, is, oh, we thought you were just a bunch of old guys on a ship. And yeah, I even heard someone say, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that today I can almost, I hope I will change your mind after this presentation. So my job is a lot about changing the mindset and the culture of the company. My background, I'm an entrepreneur who've sold a couple of companies, and I'm a tech guy in my soul, so I'm a real programming nerd. And because I've run companies, I've sort of found myself in the intersection between technology and business. And I think that's really important if you want to understand, let alone drive innovation. So before I took my job, I was very clear of the mission statement I wanted the company to follow. And this is the very bold mission statement that we have, that by 2021, Stena Line will be fully assisted by artificial intelligence. And that means all areas of the company, HR systems, finance systems, ports and terminals, onboard services, marketing, whatever it might be. And my job is usually about finding the best people and act as a shield against the traditional thinking, especially in a conservative industry like shipping. So I don't know, have you seen, this is a scene from Wonder Woman. Have you seen Wonder Woman? Great movie, by the way. So there is a scene there where she puts down her shield and the allies keep shooting and she protects the team. So that's basically what I do. I'm not a data scientist, I'm not that smart. I just tell the team that everything is going great, excellent, continue what you're doing. And then I take the beating from whoever doesn't understand what we're doing. So that's basically what I do. When it comes to why artificial intelligence, that's one of the most common questions I get. And that is that, I don't know if you, most of you look at least old enough, sorry about that. But when the computer and the technology age started, it was very important for a company or an organization to get a competitive edge by using technology. That's that's what you did as a company back then. You had the best technology, the latest computers, the best servers, the latest software and so on, and that gave you a competitive edge. Today, technology is a commodity. With my credit card, which has a debt of almost 5,000 euros, I can buy the same technology as the Stena Line credit card, which has like 12 billion or something. I don't know what the limit is. I never tried, but so there's no difference between me and the vast resources that Stena Line has when it comes to access to technology. It's simply a commodity. The same thing is happening with machine learning and AI technologies and so on. It's becoming a service that you can either download on open source. Everyone understand what open source is? Yeah. Or you can just buy it as a service for $99 a month from IBM or whatever company. So that's why you usually say now that you're entering this experience age. The only way to differentiate you between some other competitor is by offering a superior experience. That is the only way. There is no other way. I'm very hard on that. It's extremely important to understand. It's only the experience that wins over the customer, nothing else. This is a very common scenario in our terminals. We have our competitor in one line, and then we have our own line. Now imagine if I want to go to the woman in the white stripes, and I tell her, come over to us, we have the latest patches in our servers. I'm pretty sure she doesn't give a fuck. So the only thing you can do to win over the customer is by offering a superior experience. Everything else is not your core business. For instance, the very common discussion is this cloud versus on-premise infrastructure. And unless you are a network company that does cloud storage, then you should not touch a server. It's not your core competence. It's not what you do. Focus on what you do. In our case, transport. And this is very common in the startup world, because in the startup world, you don't have time for bullshit like that. You only focus on the value proposition that you're offering, and everything else, you outsource. So I want to talk a little bit about what we are doing in terms of experience on our ships. We just rebuilt one of our ships, Stena Line, which goes from Gothenburg to Fredrikshavn. And what we're going to try during the 2018 is a lot of augmented reality. So this is a mock-up sample of one of the projects we're running. We're not going to use Puma. We're going to use some other companies. I cannot mention them public yet. But what we are doing basically is creating a virtual world in augmented reality that looks different when you look it through your phone. I don't know if everyone knows what augmented reality is, but it's, you know, Pokemon Go, where you mix digital objects with virtual objects. So there will be two worlds on the ships. One is the one you see, and one is the one you see through your phone's camera. So in the case of Donica, which is connected heavily to the final destination, which is the Reef, which is like this Caribbean resort in Denmark. You can, if you look down a hall, you will see a normal hall. If you look, you know, in IRL, in real life, or if you look it through the camera, you will see like rainforests and crabs hiding under stones and stuff like that. So it's just an alternative universe on board the ship. And also, we are going to we're building this game that we call the Reef Treasure Hunt. And this game is an example of how we are trying to mix together the complete customer journey. So in this case, as soon as you buy a ticket using our app, the camera starts, and in your home, the game starts. So you will see like a parrot flying in. That was the parrot in the first picture, by the way. It flies in and lands on your kitchen table or your floor or wherever you are ordering the ticket. And then it gives you a riddle, and then you have to solve the puzzle, and the game continues like that all the way to the destination. And then you pick up a treasure at the destination, and then you have to escape back because there are monsters chasing you, like this one. And it's trying to steal the treasure from you. And if you manage to get the treasure all the way back to Gothenburg in this case, and you dig it down in the city, we have 5 pre-selected places in the city, which are tied to, what's it called in English? Organizations where you donate stuff, charity organizations. And for every treasure, digital treasure that is dug down, we will give money to that charity. So this is just one of the things we're trying out. And what we're trying to do here is not becoming a game company, because remember what I said, we're not a game company, we're a transport company. But we're doing this first proof of concept because we are opening up the platform so that real game companies can create games on our ships. That's the idea later on. But we'll see if anyone is interested. So in order to focus on the experience so heavily as we're doing, augmented reality is just one example. It's very, very important. We can do it in two ways. Either we hire twice as much people as we have today, because we have people doing Excel today, for instance, and then we need just as much for the experience. Or we automate what computers can do. I call them fancy calculators, because that's what they basically are. And then we can use our own resources to do the things that humans are good at. And for us, at least, it makes more sense to automate whatever can be automated, and then we take the resources we have and use them for better purposes. So this is a very important principle for us. One example of this, which we put in production just recently, is something we call price matching intelligence. So this is something very common in our shops on the ship. We show a price, and then we show the price on land. So that's our thing, you know, it's cheaper if you buy with us. Now, this is all fine and it works, but we have 80,000 products, and we need to update these prices as soon as our competitors or the land prices are updated. And we cannot use web scraping, you know, scrape the competitor web, because they change the name, they change the description, they change the bottle size is different, and also sometimes even the, well, I don't know what it's called, EIN number or something, like the serial number. So it's all different. So when we use normal scripts to scrape the pages, we match around 10%, not more than that. So again, I'm not a data scientist, but I was thinking, okay, but sounds like if a human can, so we take in interns, and they sit down, and then they go to kicks.se and find the perfume, and then put it in Excel, and then the next one, and the next one. So it takes 6 people 6 weeks to do. So I thought, okay, if a human can do it, for sure a machine can do it. That's how naive I am. So we engaged with a couple of consultants, a company in Gothenburg who helped us with this. And then they created a small prototype, and it turned out that this prototype could match 90% of the products. And they do that using these kind of machine learning technologies. Some of them, I don't even know what they mean, but they sound cool. Like Bayesian expectation maximization. Yeah, I'm sure the data scientists in the group, they know what that is, but it works very, very well. So now we have this in production, and we're updating the prices every week. Previously, it was twice a year. So that was a huge success. Another big thing that we have in our company, and this is probably the biggest process and the most valuable process we have, is something we call trade management. Now, trade management is a mix between revenue management and yield management. Revenue management is just updating prices dynamically. Yield management is optimization of capacity. In this case, the car deck on the ship. Traditionally, we've done this manual. For 60 years almost, we've done this manually. Trying to forecast the number of passengers, trying to understand the mix between freight and travel, and so on. One of the first prototypes we did with a new team that we hired, a new team of data scientists, is we wanted to see if we could do this using machine learning. So we used historical data and some outside factors, like weather and so on. And in 8 weeks, they created machine learning models that were in general 6% more accurate than the trade managers, the people who actually do this. And the trade managers can only forecast 30 days into the future. The models forecast 90 days up to 18 months. Of course, the longer forward you go, the less accuracy you have. But 3 months into the future is around 94, 93% accuracy. And this was a huge success for us. So now we're using machine learning models to forecast passengers. And you have to understand that our budget is controlled based on forecasts done by these trade managers. So that when you come now and say that a model is going to do the forecast for our budget, this is like saying pigs can fly in our industry. This is huge, and you will get close to killed in some cases. So to make people understand that we don't only have to look at forecasting passengers, but we can, like, for instance, automate the complete supply chain. That was the mindset there was hard to penetrate. So we released something we call the digital butterfly effect. You can see the t-shirt. We even printed t-shirts here. And if you go to YouTube and you search for Stena Line butterfly effect, then you will see a movie also that we did, the 4-minute movie. But I wanted to explain that the frustration I had was if I go to trade managers and they say, okay, we want to digitalize, so they focus on their thing and they convert manual process to digital process. And then you go to HR and they say, yeah, we want to digitalize, and they convert their manual processes to digital processes. And then you ask, okay, but have you spoken to the trade managers? And or whatever department it might be. And they say, no, we haven't, because this is HR, this is not that. Yeah, but everything is connected. In a digital world, everything is connected. The number of passengers that you forecast, why not also try to simulate how many people do we need working on that day, if we even know the number of passengers? Then we might as well just automate that process as well. And if we can simulate which kind of segments will we have on board, let's say that our models predict 60% seniors, then we should also know the competence profile of each resource, so we can take the people that have the competences to deal with seniors. There is no reason that cannot be done, technically. So everything is connected. So this movie shows that. But I also make it a simple presentation or a simple flowchart that shows. So if you predict number of passengers, you use different kind of data sets. You can also start predicting which segments they will be, not only how many. So we do that using the loyalty program. That's why you have loyalty programs, so you can understand who your customer is. Otherwise, it's not legal. So using the loyalty program data, we can know which segments, also what they will buy, because they use their loyalty number when they buy in our shops on board. Then we can also predict what they will buy, so we can even figure out, okay, how much will they buy from it, and just auto-order it from the warehouse and just ship it to the ship. There is not one single person involved here, and there is no reason at all. It's simple math. This is calculator stuff. And a calculator can do this much better than a human. Looking at which segments, we can also figure out, okay, how many staff do we need on board? I just gave you that example. We can even simulate what is the net result of this departure before it even, 3 months in advance. And for that, we use all these kind of different data sources, like HR cost databases, fuel database, scheduling, payroll, union deals. One of the most common problems we have is that the union doesn't allow us to do whatever we want in terms of manning. So we could build a tool, a small AI that understands the union deals and can even tell us that, okay, this person, if you take that person working on that departure, will cost you X amount more than if you take this person, because this paragraph in this union deal doesn't allow that person to work 3 days in a row, whatever it might be. I just made shit up, but it can be whatever. And the union deals, no one understands them. I've seen them. They're like this, and the first paragraph is like from 72, and no one really understands it. There's just some union twat that sits there and says no, and we just accept it. Because what will you do? Read through the papers? Of course not. I'm the same way. If someone says something that I don't agree with, I make shit up and they cannot control it. So why are they're not different. But if you use machines, they're completely objective. Oh yeah. One of the things, okay, this is something very, very radical, especially in our industry. So to make people buy into these kind of things, that's basically what I do mostly. I'm like, in the startup world, I'm known as the hustler. So I sell the vision, I paint the vision, I make people want to follow that vision. So I print t-shirts, I make movies, look at YouTube, but I also made a cool movie I wanted to show to you now that basically made people say, okay, yeah, we want this. And you'll see, you don't really understand what it is, but it looks cool. Oh, can we get sound? How do we know if we have sound? Is it from the laptop? Let's see. It has to be sound because the sound is spent a lot of money on that. Okay, without the sound, I don't want to show it. Let's see, oh, I fucked it up now. Okay, that was anyway the last slide, but I don't know what I did now. Okay. Yeah, I think we destroyed it. Anyway, the movie is cool. You have to trust me. All over again. It's dead. I killed it. More? Nope, no sound. Okay. Yeah, no sound. Anyway, it's really, really cool. I think that's basically all I had. So thank you very much.